Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tanya, for today, page 89.
Did I miss much in the past few days? I haven't been attending.
Yeah, you might, I don't know, maybe.
Life is so crazy. Wow. Okay.
So we're starting a new letter, Epistle 7, letter number 7, for the 21st of Av. In a moment.
Yeah, but like on the baby I think it's gonna be like later in the afternoon. Yeah. So you can ask Mom to bring jump out. Okay.
Okay. So this is a very interesting letter. Again, it's written around 1798. It was written as a fundraising letter for the Hasidim in Israel who were destitute. And along the way, he explains some very powerful ideas about God, mitzvahs, and the Jewish soul. He starts off with a quote from Psalms. The morning blessings we say from the Siddur. Ashreinu matev chalkeinu ma'anoim graleinu. Fortunate are we, how good is our portion, how pleasant is our lot. Hashem enas chalki v'chaysi, and chavalim nafali. God is the allotment of my portion, of my cup. You support my lot. The tracts, a portion of my lot, have fallen unto me pleasantly. Indeed, I have a goodly heritage. So the question we have from these quotes are, we're saying God is our portion. God is our lot. So first, what's the difference of our portion versus our lot, our lottery winnings? In order to understand the term our portion and our lot, chalkenu, chelik means a portion, geraleinu means a lot. So in general, this is a big in general, this is a common feature of Chassidus, and it's not necessarily new, but it's explaining depth into an old idea. It's we have to understand the common expression. In the teachings of our sages of blessed memory, it says in the Midrash that someone who does certain sins, he has no part in the God of Israel.
Right.
Now, it would seem that a term like part cannot be applied to God, because God is not divisible into parts, heaven forbid. So what does it mean that you don't have a portion of God, or you do have a portion of God? How could you have a... Let's understand this. So the way I think is our portion, meaning our portion is God. So it's not saying God is a part. It's going on us. We're limited, but of all the things we could have chosen, we have God. And we have. Here it's making it more. It sounds like you're putting God as a portion. To be honest, I don't get the question entirely. Because again, I think we have, we're not saying God is parts, we're saying we have parts. And, we have let's see how they translate it here. The Chassidus is saying, we say our, like the land of Israel was divided by lottery to portions. That's the typical way you say, oh, I have my part. Now, your part means you have a portion of something larger, but you have a portion of it. So I guess the when you say that to God, it doesn't seem to sound so good. You're saying that I got a piece of God. How could you say God is in pieces? Obviously, and this is, the question of it's a huge open the windows. That's good too. So like what else would you say? What else would you say by if you want to say a portion, you would say our life is God. Regardless, why do you call God a piece of God, a portion of God? How do you say that? This concept can be understood by considering a verse concerning Jacob. After Yaakov, he made an altar to dedicate to God. After he survived his encounter with his brother Esav, he built an altar to thank God. And the verse is very ambiguous. He established there an altar. He called it El Elokei Yisrael. He called the altar the God of Israel. Now, obviously, he's not calling the altar God. He wanted to say that this altar is dedicated to the God of Israel, so people would remember the miracles God did. So, at the same time, this concept can be in there. So what it means, Rashi says it wasn't called the altar by like this phrase, so people should remember God. So then what does it mean? He called the altar God, who is a God to Israel, to my name. My name is Israel. There's actually another interpretation that God called Yaakov by the name of God. So what does that mean? How could a human being called by name of God? So to explain the meaning, here's the verse means. In truth, the Holy One, blessed be He, is true to His name. We say HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, that means on one hand, God is holy, he's removed and transcendent, but he's blessed that he draws himself down. Meaning, although he permeates all the upper and lower worlds from the peak of all levels to this lowly corporeal world, God is equally present in the spiritual and the physical. As it is written, do I not fill the heavens and the earth? That means the essence of God's being, not only his glory. So God is everywhere, just like radio waves are everywhere, but you can't see them. They're everywhere. God could be somewhere without us having the capacity to really, feel to really comprehend the essence of God, but he could still be there. He is nevertheless holy in the sense of apart from the upper and lower worlds, and is not at all contained in them, heaven forfend. In the way, by analogy, that the soul of man is contained in his body and is affected by the changes within it. Unlike the soul, God is not affected by the worlds in which he is to be found. In the way, by analogy, the soul of man is contained in his body. The soul is, it's spiritual and it enlivens and enlivens the body, but the soul is also somewhat tapered to the body and is affected by the body. But God is not. God is not affected. The essence of God is not affected by the world, because the world can't really even perceive that essence of God, as explained elsewhere at length. For this reason, the God is inherently transcendent and too above the world. They cannot receive the life force from his being an essence in itself, as it were. Rather, the diffusion of the life force whereby the Holy One, blessed be, animates the upper and lower worlds. So how do we have life? That's through diffusion. Metaphorically speaking, like a radiation shining forth from his name. For he and his name are one. And a ray of his name is kind of like multiple diffusions of the power of God's essence. Thus, it's written, even his name is exalted. It's only that his reflection is splendor on the earth and the heavens. And this radiation, this ray, actually vests itself in the upper and lower worlds. This radiation actually vests itself in the upper and lower worlds in order to animate them. And is contained in them by means of many intermediaries. And by means of numerous and intense contractions, in a downward chain-like progression, a sequence of cause and effect. These are all various, this is referencing different levels of tzimtzum. Then you have light that can be basically received by the creations to give them life. If you didn't do that, it'd be a power plant. Every power plant has transformers that are taking the powerful energy and diffusing it to being able to use it for a toaster, to plug in your toaster. So we spoke about today that on one hand, we asked a kind of a question on the common saying of, we have a portion in the God of Israel. How can you say you could have a part of God? How could God be in parts? So we preface the idea about, on one hand, God's essence is everywhere, but we don't have the receptors because it's too infinite. It's too overwhelming. So in order to have any finite existence from God, it needs to go that couple stages. The essence of God, then you have the name of God. The name is more peripheral, but at least it points to the essence. But even that is too, God's name is too transcendent. So there has to be many levels of contraction, tzimtzumim, in order that you can end up with a ray of the name of God.